Here we are once again, back in the shop, folks. Welcome back, Sparks and Grit Garage. I got some plans today for the Rambler. Next week is the Street Rod Nationals in Louisville, Kentucky, which is pretty close to my home. So I'm going to be in that show. I mean, I always enter a car into it if I have one running at the time, because it's a whole lot nicer than parking a mile away in August and walking a mile to get there, carrying all your stuff and your chairs and everything. And because you can't go to a big car show like that and just spend an hour. I mean, there's 11,000 cars there usually, and swap meet, all kinds of vendors. If you've never been to the Street Rod Nationals, I highly encourage you to go. Enter a car if you have one. I think they're going up to 89 this year is the latest model you can enter into it. So anyway, the Street Rod Nationals, I think maybe I don't know what year it is, 50, 51 years, 52, I don't know, something like that. COVID kind of got it all screwed up. Anyway, so what I'm going to do today, I got some stuff to do the Rambler. We're going to drain the gas tank, pull the tank off, try to clean some of the debris out of it that keeps getting sucked up into the intake or the pickup tube that runs to the fuel pump. Whenever you hit the brakes real hard, kind of sloshes towards the front of the tank and gets sucked up in there. Kind of aggravating. I mean, it's pretty easy to fix. You just pull the hose off the fuel pump and blow backwards into the tank, clear it out, and you're off and running again. But I need to clean that out. Also, I'm going to replace the gasket on the transmission pan because that's been leaking for a while. And I'm going to replace the valve stem seals because the last time I changed the oil, I found what I believe was the valve stem seals in the oil. You got to think, 60 years those valve stem seals have been on there, and this thing's got a ton of miles on it probably. I don't really know how many miles it's got on it, but I know it's got a lot. And it's smoking a little bit and using some oil. I mean, we talked about that before. We definitely were using some more oil than I thought. At one point, it got pretty low. So anyway, we're going to do that. Change the valve stem seals, which means I got to change the valve cover gaskets, which means I got to make those because they're not available. Change the transmission pan gasket, which that may be available, but I'm not even sure which transmission it is, so I'm probably just going to make that too. There was 3 different transmissions this car could have had in it. I'm not sure which one it's got. So by the time I identify the transmission, order a gasket, wait for it to come, I could make one in like 30 minutes and put it on there. So yeah, valve stem seals, valve cover gaskets, transmission pan gasket, clean out the gas tank. That's the most important stuff that I have to do on this car before the Nationals. So come along with me, grasshopper. Alright, so what I decided to do first was the valve stem seals. And I've been rounding up some stuff. I had to get some things together because I'm changing these actually with the engine in the car and the cylinder head's still on. And there's a way you can do that. And a lot of you probably know about that, know how to do it. Some of you might not know how to do it that way. So we're going to go ahead and walk through it together and see if we can't get these things changed out. I want to apologize in advance if you hear any wind noise because it's hot. It's like heat index of 112 outside, and I don't have air in my barn. I've got it all closed up and it's insulated, so it's not too bad as long as I have a fan. So if you hear the fan, I apologize for that. I'll try to talk loud and clear so that so you can still hear what I'm saying. All All right, so the first thing we got to do is take the spark plugs out this side. I'm going to start on the driver's side because it's the easiest side, it's easiest to see. And if I don't feel like I can get in there and videotape the passenger side, well, I just won't do that. It's going to be the same as the driver's side anyway. So I've already got one spark plug out. I'm going to go ahead and take the rest out. And I have to say, looking at this plug, it actually is burning really clean. Surprisingly, because I think the valve stem seals are shot. Now what I found in the oil is either the valve stem seals or the timing gear. It doesn't seem like it has a lot of slop in the rotor, so I don't know. But this plug isn't burned. That doesn't say what the other ones are. We don't know. But I'm going to mark these so that I can keep an accurate reading on. I'm going to change the plugs when I go back in. That's number one. All right. Let's take out number three. Again, clean and lean. You know, the reason that I wanted to do this part of it first is because of the amount of smoke and fumes that are coming up into the back window. When I'm driving and I have the tailgate window down, man, you just get a ton of fumes coming up in there from the smoke. And everybody was telling me it was running rich, and I knew that it wasn't because I tuned it myself. And I knew it was running really well, getting really good fuel mileage. But it was smoking and burning some oil, and that's why I'm saying, looking at those plugs, it don't look like the rings have much of an issue, at least in the first couple cylinders. So I'm hoping the rings are good. I'll probably go ahead and do a compression test on this. That one there's pretty clean too. That's number 5. Not as clean as the other ones, but it's pretty clean. Okay. Let's take out number 7. Again, extremely clean. It's really good. It's a good sign. The amount of compression, I'm gonna go ahead and take the valve cover off now. This is an ingenious design here. No leaks, it's not leaking anywhere. It's got 2 bolts holding it on. Whereas, you know, a lot of the later model stuff, you've got 4, sometimes 6 or 8 bolts holding the valve cover on. Hard to get to them. That one there's all the way on the floor now, but it's still easy to get to. So with this, it's just a great design. It's quick getting the valve covers off. Easy to get to them. Sometimes, if it ain't broke, folks, don't fix it. All right, let's see if we can encourage that to come off of there. Let's see here. Now, these valve cover gaskets have been replaced at some point. They were not leaking. And whoever replaced them did a good job putting them on, because they didn't just kill it with silicone. They put just the right amount on there. There's some sludge in there. We'll clean that up. Make that look just right. Better go ahead and mark this last plug, number 7, so that I know which one it is. Go ahead and put this stuff all together. Get that wing out from under there. Put this off to the side. First thing we're going to want to do is unbolt this rocker shaft and take it off of there, get it out of the way, and at that point we can start pressurizing the cylinders one by one, popping the valve spring retainers off and the springs, and then pulling the valve stem seals off and changing them. I don't know if that was the valve stem seals in the oil or not, because they'd have a hard time getting out of there with them valve springs. They're inside the valve spring, so I don't know. They could have gotten chewed up. They were in small pieces. They were small pieces of rubber. They could have been really chewed up just from the bouncing around in there, getting in between the springs and all that, and finally come out. But we're going to see. There's actually no gasket on here. That's all silicone. So there's a gasket on the valve cover still. Alright, loosen these a little bit at a time. That's more than what that impact can do. Yep, we're going to put a bigger ratchet on that. Sludge running through its veins, people. If you look at that, there's definitely some stuff on there. So what we have next here is on the agenda, as you can see, I have made up this little air hose here, fitting on the end, and this is the same thread pitch as a spark plug. So I'm going to screw this hose into the spark plug hole. And then plug the air hose into it. What that should do is it should hold pressure in the cylinder that will hold the valves closed while I take the valve springs off so that they don't fall down in the cylinder. Right? Alright, so the engine kind of pumped over, as you can see that. Push that cylinder to the bottom. So, next thing we got is this, we call a stud-mounted valve spring compressor. Alright, so we'll run a bolt down through there and bolt that in order to pull up on this, and we should be able to, we're going to pull those out, the push rods, just put them, make sure we lay them in a way that we put them back in the same hole we came out of, but there's a square on those that matches the lifter and the rocker on. We'll get one of the rocker shafts off. If this works out right, we should be able to just pop that retainer off of there, pop the spring up off. Of course, I'm not going to have some problems. Probably going to have to tap on those with a hammer to break those valve spring retainers loose. There we go. Now I just need to get me a magnet. Screwdriver. Take this magnet. We'll try to get those keepers off of there. If I push that down far enough. trim this spring compressor on the side because it hits the other side. So what's happening in the side of this right here is hitting the other valve spring thing. So I can't push the one I'm working on down far enough. So I'm going to have to trim this a little bit. Come back and try again. Went and trimmed these up, the sides of this up on the bench grinder. Now let's see if we can get enough movement in order to push it down far enough to get the keepers off. Oh, it's much better. Come on. It's got some pressure on it. Pretty good spring. There you go. Gotta get it way down there to get it off. Okay. You notice okay. There we go. Yeah. So, come down here and take a look at this. You see that right there? That is the stuff that I found in the oil, right there. So, yes, it was the valve stem seal that came apart, and that is the reason we're smoking. Using oil. So, pop a valve stem seal on there, and hopefully we got the right one. It's just these little hats right here. Just pop them down on there, little umbrella. Basically what that does is that just seals around the valve stem over the valve guide and just keeps the oil from running down around that valve stem into the valve guide and being sucked in. Alright, now you should be able to just put that valve spring right back on. We'll go ahead and clean inside of that keeper where it seats, where the actual keeper seats against there. Make sure there's not any debris in the way, or carbon, or whatever, what have you. Okay. Pop this bad boy back on there. Still pieces of the valve still falling out. Appears to be the right one. Just tight around that valve stem. What's going on here? Set that on. around to the other side. It seems like when I put that retainer down, it kind of favors one side. It makes it hard to get the other side on. Take these gloves off. At least it's just hard to work and have a feel and see what you're doing with them on. There we go. That one's back on. Now see if we can get this other one on. Still there, but it is as hard as a rock. See, that hat is still there, but it is hard as a rock. You can see the new one. Look how pliable the new one is. Rubber. These are improved over these. These are actually designed to be tolerant of the new additives and all that are in the oil, and so these should last as long as the engine does. This one here, you can check this out. Should be able to just look at that. Broken so hard. So that's what we're seeing in the oil. That one, it would have been one of the next ones to go. Alright, put this new one on. Wipe out the heat on the slot. That real quick. Rag in there. Clean that out. Definitely don't want to drop one of these and lose it. I'd have to run to town to my buddy's shop and hunt down some more. cylinder 1 complete. Now I'm going to reposition my camera to where there's a better angle for the viewers at home to do the rest of them, and I'll put it on time lapse. Engage. Well, got all the valve stem seals on. As you can see on this last one here, which I knew was going to be a bear, that's why I did this one first. Instead of working on down the line, I skipped that one to that one. So I knew all this heater stuff was in the way, which actually damaged that a little bit. But I think that'll be okay. I can probably glass that back and make that gooder and gooder again. As you can see, we got the valve covers on. We got the new valve stem seals, rocker shafts on, torqued, new valve covers on, or old valve covers back on with the old gaskets, but we give them some RTV help because you can't buy those gaskets anymore, those big O-ring gaskets, which they're really cool, but they're not quite as soft as they used to be, so I'm just going to help them out a little bit with some RTV. Next thing we're going to do is put some new spark plugs and plug wires in, because that's the only thing that I haven't replaced on the ignition system yet. Okay, we got everything buttoned back up again. And if we did everything right, it should fire right up. Let's get this out of the way. So as you probably heard that zip sound, that was, most of y'all will probably know, that is either a bad spot on the flywheel or the starter drive is weak, and sometimes it don't. The starter drive is what kicks the starter gear out to where it reaches the flywheel. So it's gears, the starter gear is back here, the flywheel gear is up here. When you hit the key, the starter solenoid kicks the starter drive out to mesh with the gears so that it'll turn. Sometimes the starter drive gets weak and it don't kick out far enough to engage. So it just spins out right there. Sometimes that's also a bad spot in the flywheel where there's teeth missing. But the fact that you can do it 2 or 3 times and it'll grab, it's probably a starter drive. If you keep doing that for a long time though, it will knock teeth off the flywheel. So, but we're not gonna worry about that right now because we only have a couple days to get this car ready, and I know that it will start eventually. Fingers crossed. So, all right. Well, valve stem seals are done. Moving on to the transmission pan gasket. And then finally after that, we'll take the gas tank off and clean it out, put it back on. Right on.